Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to episode 17. I had to take off my shoe again, and I must have stubbed my toe last night. It's black and blue. It does not look good. And then I got a crooked toe. Let's just get to 21 as quickly as we can.
I don't need all these details about your feet. I really don't. So, although somebody did have a cute post on Facebook the other day that said the little toe on both feet is, God's plan to indicate to you where all the furniture is in the middle of the night.
True. So I don't know. I think my big toe finds all that.
Well, you're just more talented than most. How you doing? It's the week in between. It's the in between week. Here we are. Christmas was a few days ago. New Year's is a few days ahead. How you doing?
Good. This is like the week now. See, because I'm a big country music person, and I worked country radio when I was working Oldies 95.
Right.
And this is the week that Nashville completely closes down.
Oh.
You cannot find a person in Nashville if you well, in the music industry, I should say. I mean, they might be performing, but as far as like the record reps, and they're all gone.
What? Everybody went back to the farm for the holidays or something like that, or what? Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And here in exciting Gainesville, I think I'm the only guy left on the block. I mean, I was sitting outside having coffee, and I'm noticing because in my apartment, they're kind of in these buildings that have 1, 2, 3, 4 apartments in each, and they're like all connected together, blah, blah, blah. But I'm the only one here. My other 3 neighbors, they're gone. And I was sitting outside having my coffee, and it's like a nature preserve out there. It's silent, and all you hear is the birds chirping. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty nice.
No one to play pickleball with?
Well, I'll be honest. No, we're still playing. I haven't been there in a couple of, because we had rain one morning and I wasn't going to go out in the rain, and because can't play in the rain. And then the most recent time I slept in. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Can't help it. I can't help it, but that's all right. Moving ahead. So you had a good Christmas, of course.
Yes. Had a great Christmas. It was
awesome.
Wonderful. I got everything I didn't want.
Okay. I'm glad to hear it. Now, speaking of which, BJ may have to put a new home on his Christmas list, because as we record this, in just a day or two, he's going to be homeless.
By the time this plays, I will still have 2 days, and then we'll close. And this house will then be history. Although, like I said, podcast before this, they're letting us stay till the 20th of January.
So you will be where you're at. And by the way, I see, for those who can't see, and that's everybody except for me, I see lots more boxes stacked up behind BJ Odom there, wherever he's recording, whatever room he's recording this in. And it's interesting. I see the little China hutch back there also has things like kind of packed into it. So you're coming right along.
Yeah, there's blankets or something in there, because it's glass and stuff like that. And then they'll wrap it to movers when they come.
There you go. How goes the packing?
Pretty good. I don't know. I guess I'd have to bring my wife in here for sure.
Yeah,
she's been doing 90% of it.
Oh, okay. Well, then credit where credit is due, and get off your butt and do some work today, for a guy's sake. So that's fine.
Our deal was she really wanted to move.
Oh.
And she didn't want to downsize too much. The
right.
Packing was going to be her responsibility.
Yes.
But as of January 20th, and they say now the latest date that we have, but still not, what do they say? Concrete and ink or whatever.
Cast in stone, all those cliches. Yes.
They're saying our place will close, the new place, January the 25th, hopefully, because we're going to be 5 days homeless.
Wow. Really? January 20th. So what do you...
We have to be out the 20th because they're actually going to move.
Just going to be a street guy, a street person in downtown, wherever, Orlando, Winter Park, wherever.
I might go back to Nashville where I can actually make some money.
Oh,
we were there on vacation over the summer,
Okay.
And I never realized, but Nashville, downtown Nashville, filled with a lot of homeless people.
I would say that and I haven't traveled a lot. I haven't traveled at all in the past 9 months. Lots and lots and lots of big cities that's just the way it is now, which is awful. But I don't think Nashville is probably, I don't think Nashville is the exception. I think it's probably pretty much the way everything else is. And if you've watched any of the news, and I don't watch too much news, how bad it is, like in California, San Francisco and LA and all, the big cities of California, how awful the homeless situation is. And here we are, two old fat white guys not complaining, talking about it. There's nothing we can do at this point, but it's like, wow, that it's just eye-opening sometimes to see the conditions out there. I say out there, like it's a different world, but it's our country. And we're just, well, that's a whole political discussion that I don't really want to get into because that's not our thing, but I think we could do better. I think so too. But like I said, there's a lot of people in Nashville. And what's really funny about it is we were there on vacation. Right.
And we had our dog, and there was a lot of places in Nashville you can't take your dog, obviously.
Right.
Thank Blake Shelton. He let us in the old saloon there, the Old Red Saloon, which I have the Old Red Saloon coffee cup drinking my hot tea from this morning.
I see that. Yes.
But he let us in, but Luke Bryan, he wouldn't let us in with the puppy.
Like Shelton standing there at the door waving you through.
But my wife wanted to do some shopping.
I see.
So I basically was sitting on the curb with the dog, and of course, some of her bags and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And we'd seen so many homes. I mean, like I said, they're everywhere in Nashville.
Right.
She was gone for about 45 minutes doing her shopping.
Right.
He came back and I says, man, I made $20 just sitting here with the dog on the corner, just looking like an old homeless guy, nowhere to go and nothing to do.
All right, that was a long way to go for a joke, but I finally got it because you said you were going to go to Nashville and make some money, and I was thinking, comedy club, nightclub, what is he going to do? No, he's just going to sit on the corner with a dog and a shopping bag and collect random change.
But I tell you, the way I looked, it was hot that day that we were there. I was, hot. I was worn out because we left. We got in a hotel that we thought was closer to the downtown where everything happens.
Right.
But actually it was about 5 blocks away. And so we walked down there and it was hot and we went around a little bit town. So I looked like a homeless person probably by the time she went in and did some shopping.
Hot.
So I was just waiting for, and there was another guy right around the corner from me who was actually homeless and collecting money. So I thought, maybe I'd get some of his leftover residuals or something.
Nice thought. Not a nice thought. I get it. That's fun. Funny, but not funny, not funny. Sorry, not sorry. Whatever the cliche is these days. I understand it completely. Yeah, that's weird. It's just, we got to do better. And I don't have an answer for that. And nobody's asking me. So that's okay. But we'll see what happens. So anyway, you could be homeless for 5 days. The whole bottom line to this entire story is that you could be homeless for 5 days at come the end of January before your house is ready to move in.
And then, of course, they can always come back and say, oh, we're not going to be done till February. Oh, we're not going to be done till the end of February. I mean, my daughter, but now I will say this, they were doing, when the shortages stopped and everything got really whacked out.
Right.
With, getting things delivered in the ports, and
right.
It seemed like there was a shortage on everything. She was supposed to be in her house that now she is finally in and closed, but she was supposed to be in it like 6 or 7 months before she actually got into it.
Wow. 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, that's how far they were behind. Thank goodness,
wow.
She had a place to rent.
What are you going to do? What are the Odoms going to do? Should they be homeless for a week?
Well, here's my plan at the moment.
Okay.
As I say, the 20th is when we need to be out of here.
Right.
The movers are actually coming 9 a.m. on the 20th.
Okay.
They're going to pack everything up. Now let's say they can move our closing up a few days.
For the new house.
Yeah. So, and then we could be, we could maybe be done by the beginning of the following week.
Right.
Now they don't do this for a long period of time, but I couldn't afford a long period of time either. They will keep it on the truck for $200 a day. So
Okay.
I'm thinking, maybe we can keep it on the truck over the weekend for 2 or 3 days. If we can push up, the closing, maybe 2 or 3 days, if we can push it up.
Okay.
But if not, I also have like a storage facility. I've got everything worked out where I will rent a storage unit there that will store everything. The only bad thing then you got to pay the movers twice. You got to pay them to come get everything loaded up. Then they got to load it in the storage unit. And then
they got to do the whole thing over again.
2 moves.
Oh, man. That and doubling the chances of breaking something.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Because they're handling all of that stuff on and off on the truck at your house, off the truck at the storage unit, off out of the storage unit, onto the truck, back into the, drive it across town again. And then, at the new house. Wow. And you would stay at the Daughters in Fort Myers. What would you do?
We were thinking about coming and staying with Bill Stevens in Gainesville.
Oh yeah. You could stay with Bill Stevens. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, sure. As long as you don't mind sleeping on a couch. It's a real comfy couch. It's a real pull out, almost king size couch.
Actually,
you have the dog though.
Yeah, well, oh boy, you made a look there, didn't you?
I did make it a look. I did make a face. I'll admit.
You are so lucky. My wife could not see the face. You can just hear your voice.
I love critters. I mean, the current lady friend has a couple of cats. She denies the cat lady status thing, but I'm not so sure. And, several of my neighbors here in my apartment around here are out walking the dogs, and I'm, out there saying hi and, scratching behind the ears, and sometimes the owner, sometimes the dog, whatever. It's all good. So I love critters. I'm just not so sure I want to be living with them on close quarters for a while.
Here's what our options are.
Yes.
And we may move around, we may be like traveling circus people. Obviously, my son in Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, my daughter in Davenport, Florida.
Yes.
Which will be not far from where we're moving.
Right.
And also, our cousins have a place down here.
Oh.
And, we told them, because we actually have keys to go look at their place. It's actually in Zolfo Springs.
Right.
But we have keys to check in on it every once in a while to make sure, like after the hurricane, we went down there. Sure. They trust us to make sure we can check on it every now and again.
Sure.
I'm telling my wife, we can be squatters. We have the keys. We can.
Are they not? They're not there.
No. Well, I mean, they're those people that come about, every 3 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Every 2 months.
Sounds like a natural to me. So. Absolutely. Sounds like a natural to me. Sure.
So I'm thinking we don't even need to tell them. We'll just go squat in their house.
Free home. I love that. Anyway. All right, good. Well, I'm glad it's starting to sound it's getting down to the end of the story here. We'll keep everybody up to date, but boy, what will we talk about when you're in we'll talk about the new house. I was going to say, what will we talk about when you move? Huh?
And speaking of moving, I know you have talked about moving.
Yes, I have.
And you've talked about moving to Jacksonville.
Yes, I have.
Now, with me moving and selling and the market kind of, I think we probably bought the place more than we're going to be, more than it's going to be worth when we move in. Like the stock market, I believe after 2 or 3 years, it'll be back
right
up to where it should be, or maybe a little more.
Right.
I was reading the articles, and it said these 7 cities in Florida that the housing market is probably apt to take the biggest dump.
Oh.
And I don't know what number it was. It was either like 5, 6, or 7, somewhere in there. Jacksonville.
The biggest dump. Really?
That means like the biggest
decrease.
Reduction in price.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, if Bill Stevens can hold on for another 3, 4, 5, 6 months before he moves.
Yes.
That might be the time to swoop in, get an awesome deal, And then when everything starts going up, you'll even do even better.
You're not wrong. And I didn't know about the Jacksonville being one of the places where, well, for starters, I think real estate prices are going to come down everywhere. And I've actually seen that. And that's, I did sign myself up for, there's a couple of the real estate, when you go onto the like realtor.com or Redfin or whatever, you could put in your little search parameters like where and how much and how big a house and do you want a home or condo. Anyway, I've done that with both realtor.com and Redfin. And I'm seeing it already, that prices, that you're seeing lots and lots and lots of daily emails that say, oh, price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. And very, very, very few that say price increase. And the ones that are increased are usually the new construction. Like, you're kind of a place that, costs are just going up for the builders so much that it's like they have to raise the prices like, $5,000 every month or something like that. But the other ones I'm seeing like really nice, but already built. Is there such a thing as a used house? I don't know what you call that. A resale.
Yeah.
Whatever. That the prices are coming down, and I'm not saying you're right, but I would 100% agree with you that in 6 or 7 months, maybe less, things will really be, at the pendulum will have swung the other way completely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And now, and I haven't told my wife this, I was going to tell her this a little bit later on today. I was on Zillow actually today, checking out the villas, like the villas we live in. When ours was up for sale, another one became up for sale.
You're talking about where you're at now.
Where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And ours is sold. Didn't get the price exactly we wanted, but we were in the ball game.
Right.
I can't, if maybe it was another 3 or 4 months down the road, it might have been a whole different story. So I realized that, and that makes me feel good.
Right.
But now there's another villa in the neighborhood that is for sale. And the last one that was for sale, and it went on sale not too much longer after ours did. And it still hasn't sold. And now there's another one that's fresh on the market. So now there's 2 villas in this area that are for sale.
And the price will come down. I'm sure people are, getting bored of Bill and BJ's real estate program here, but yeah, it's going to come down. It's going to come. Oh, speaking of which, now this has only a little bit to do with real estate. Remember our old friend, Reverend Gregory Keene? We had talked about him. Our friend, our psychic friend that we used to have on the show all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had the chance to have lunch with he and his wife last week, and it was wonderful. I haven't seen them in a couple of years. They spend, the summers up in upstate New York at the spiritual community where they live, and then they spend the winters like so many other folks in the villages. And the wife had to come to Gainesville here for a doctor's appointment, some specialist that they didn't have in the villages. So anyway, got together for lunch with them, and we sat and chatted for a couple hours. And he, my psychic friend, Reverend Gregory, also said the same thing, by the way, and he's not a financial expert of any kind, but he did say, yes, that he is feeling that a little bit of more recession and, not good financial times are definitely coming for this country and the rest of the world over the next year or 18 months or so. So I don't know who you want to believe. You want to believe the BJ Odom real estate meter or the Reverend Gregory Keene psychic money meter, but either way, the news is the same, which is interesting. So there you go.
But, we're not going to get into this because it's just way too complicated. But sometimes I think they try to make a recession. I know they say, well, we're trying to slow down the economy, so we're raising the interest rates.
Yes.
Well, raising those interest rates is what is really causing a lot of havoc in a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
And so, okay, people were buying, people were spending money. You would think that's a good thing. People are working, people are employed. You'd think that was a good thing.
I can't argue with you because I don't know it either. And you're right. It does seem like, what the heck are you guys doing up there with your hands on the controls, trying to wreck things?
Yeah, because I'm not an economist, nor have I ever even played one on TV.
That makes two of us. I'm drinking to that.
But everything I read says recession coming. But
Okay,
yeah, as long as it's not a depression,
right.
because I've lived through quite a few recessions at my age. I think at least 5, and some of them I was younger and was not a person who would watch the news or anything else. And I lived through it. And I never really even knew we were going through one.
Right. All right. Well, we'll leave that for smarter people than you and I, and there are plenty of those out there. So we'll hopefully figure that out. So anyway,
yeah, let's get into the new year.
A little pivot here. Yeah, we're about as we record this, enter the new year. Any big time New Year's resolutions or anything like that? Or, well, I mean, here you are coming with a new house and all kinds of a new life and everything like that. But I mean, personally for BJ Odom, what's the new year gonna do?
The same thing you say. Well, my New Year's resolution for the last 20 years has been, to make it to next year.
and thankfully it's worked. So your resolution for that for the last 60 plus years has worked. So there you go.
So hopefully I will make my New Year's resolution and keep it again.
I like that. I do. I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting year for me. I don't know what it's going to bring. Like you said, I had been thinking about, I don't know that Gainesville was ever going to be a permanent stop, a permanent place for me, but you and I are completely different in that I have no problem picking up and packing up my meager belongings and moving somewhere else if it looks cool or fun, or if there's, people there that I like or whatever. So anyway, could be moving again. Who knows? Because my lease, as we record this, my lease is actually coming up for renewal here at the place in Gainesville. And I've informed them that I'm only going to sign a 7-month lease, a short one. So with thinking that either I was going to, like you were saying, which is why I was agreeing with you so much about the real estate prices, going to be ready to buy something either here or somewhere else in 7 or 8 months. So that's where I don't know that you'd call that a New Year's resolution, but it's what my thinking is for the new year as we get started here with the new year.
Now, of course, too, with New Year's resolutions comes, it almost comes every year, and everybody has the same one.
Which is?
I'm going to eat better.
Yes.
I'm going to exercise better.
Yes.
All that stuff. And I have been doing this slowly over the last 6 months, but yet, it's like anything else, you fall on certain days. But I'm going to try to eat much healthier. I think that can really play into how you feel and the things that you do. And I think my goal is really just going to be eat healthier.
Yes.
We talked about this a few months ago. Smaller portions. And of course, as you get older,
yes,
you just eat smaller portions. I don't know what happens in life that makes you just, like I said, when I was younger, I could eat, 2x, 3 times as much as I can now. Like even at the end of a full meal, like you go out and you get the complete meal.
Right.
You're going, oh gosh, I am just stuffed.
Yep.
So I'm going to, I think the wife and I will share more.
That's good.
There's a lot of restaurants that allow you to do that.
Sure. You're right, by the way, you do. And believe me, I've done and am doing a lot of reading, but more YouTubing. Of course, there's 1,000 experts on YouTube, some of them crazy, some of them really good. Some have initials after their names, MD and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm totally on board with eating better and doing more. I give myself a little credit for that. I've been doing pretty good. I walk or ride my bike every day here in the neighborhood, and not just like around the house. It's like I have a 2-mile stretch marked. I'm not going to say marked, but I've walked the same thing every day in my little, Fitbit. The kind of thing tells me it's 2.1 miles or 2.4. So I don't remember. So I do that every day. And being better about what I eat and all of that stuff. So yeah, absolutely. I get that. And, you're not neither one of us are getting any younger, as they say. So I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So I support that. I approve that message, as they say, because I'm going to do the
Did
same.
you have a New
Absolutely.
Year's resolution?
New Year's resolution. Well, I've been chasing squirrels, the old bright, shiny object thing. I've been chasing squirrels for 2 years now with working on a little online business thing. And you know me, I'm the computer geek and I love studying things online and figuring out the technology and all of that stuff. And I've done some of it in the past, but all of the efforts, if I'm going to be honest with myself, all of the efforts have been kind of like just enough to get by until I see the next bright, shiny object come or the next squirrel come along and I'm off in a different direction. So I'm patting myself on the back just a little bit this past couple months, because literally in the last 90 days, I have been much more focused on one kind of plan, one business, one idea for making some money with an online business. And that's going to actually launch. What's today as we record? Well, as you guys listen to this, it is the end of December, just before New Year's, and it will launch right after the start of the new year. So pretty darn exciting for an old guy like me. So
will we talk about that now, or will we talk
I'm sorry,
about
what's that?
Will we talk about that now or after the beginning of the year?
Ask me on the next show. Ask me on the next. Well, it has to do with it has to do with teaching people, me, because I'm a teacher and I've done my little videos, my little iPhone videos and my computer videos. I've done that for years, but of course I'm not going to say, of course, I never did that as a business. I just kind of did that as an extension of when I was teaching adult education classes in Sarasota. I enjoyed that a lot. So I kind of carried that over when the whole pandemic thing started and there was no live classes anymore. I just started doing it on, Facebook videos and YouTube videos. Here's how to work your iPhone or whatever. So it's similar to that. It's teaching people to do something, but it's more of a little business kind of thing that somebody else can do at home. So I'm teaching people how, hey, if you're going to be at home or if you're retired like me and, BJ and got nothing to do, got time on your hands, here's a way maybe you could just make some money rather than watching cat videos on YouTube. Here's some things you can do. So more details as they become available.
I'll miss the cat videos, but maybe I will be inclined here.
Miss the cat videos. Oh yeah, maybe. Well, maybe I'll invite you for sure. I'll invite you over for sure. So yeah, it's that's going to launch.
We're not going to sell Amway, are we?
I'm sorry.
We're not going to be selling Amway, are we?
No, we are definitely, absolutely, positively not selling any network marketing. I did that for a while. I'm guessing everybody did some sort of network marketing MLM thing in their life at some point, right? I mean, it's almost inescapable. And I've done my share. I've done, the last one I did was with CBD related products, it was good stuff. I mean, I took them for a while and helps you sleep. It's a wonderful thing. Not the cannabis based CBD products, the CBD oil that they extract from a different time. Anyway, it's a long story because I'm not doing it anymore and it's not important. But anyway, no, it has nothing to do with network marketing, MLM, that kind of thing. So all good.
We ready to take a little break before
we can do that?
Come back with some.
Yes.
I do have one other thing as we talk about New Year's, though.
Sure, I'm listening.
And this was a study that there's always a study for everything.
Always a study.
You have like an aura or I hate to say it. You smell. You have like an odor, a bodily odor.
Okay. Because aura is a little different than odor.
Well, you have like an odor.
Yes, our psychic friends would say, "Oh yeah, you have an aura too." But odor, yes, you do. Everybody has their own little smell.
That odor can actually physically attract the opposite sex.
Well, of course it does. That's yes.
And so, a study has found that people who eat healthier have a better odor to them and attract more beautiful people.
Oh, if that's not motivation, I don't know what is.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm eating healthy, baby.
Well, wait a minute now. Thankfully, the Mrs. Odom is not within earshot at the moment. She might have something to say about that. She might continue to feed you junk food for just that reason.
That's why she's always giving me this junk food. She probably knew about this.
We might have hit upon something. But a single guy like yours truly, however, now you've motivated me to eat even better and have that's awesome. And I wonder why that is. Well, you know what? That's not that hard to figure out, because if you've ever read the labels on the junk food and saw what was in there, and then your body has to process all of that and get rid of the junk. I mean, in more ways than one. I mean, it's like you're not just in the bathroom peeing it out and pooping it out. Let's get it, let's put that out there. But you're sweating it out, you're breathing it out, you're all of that stuff. Ugh, yeah, you're right. So
now I know why back in the day when I ate a lot of McDonald's, I attracted heavier women. I've got it figured out now.
All right.
They would smell the fries.
Now. What's that?
They would smell the fries coming off my odor and they go, oh, I like him.
It's that perfect combination of manly smell of grease and salt. Well, good luck with that. If that works for you, good luck for that. The problem is you might be attracting not exactly the right kind of, well, I mean, I don't know what kind of woman you're trying to attract, but
really,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not trying to attract any, because it would be very painful.
Yes.
And
yes.
Be very dangerous. Let's just say
very bad for your health and have nothing to do with your heart. She would. Yes.
Got that right.
Yes. The 2x4 across the back of the head would probably be a lot more painful than anything. Well, then never mind. We're not going to get into that. So I think you should eat healthy regardless, just for your own well-being and good health. If anybody chooses, like me, I'm going to do it for me. And if I also therefore get other benefits from it, I'm totally open to that. I think that's awesome. I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, getting back to taking that break, when we come back,
yes,
I'm going to talk about you, Mr. Bill, being a trend setter.
Bill being a trendsetter. I'm gonna need details on that, and we will have that for you coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. And welcome back. It's the BJ and Bill podcast. If you would like to get in touch, we would love to hear from you. And you can do that with either our email address, bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com, or if you're on that Facebook thing, you can just do a quick search for groups, and we are the BJ and Bill podcast. Again, AND, BJ and Bill podcast @gmail, or just BJ and Bill podcast. Do the search on Facebook. So before we took the break, Mr. Odom said that yours truly was somehow a trendsetter. And as somebody who's been around the block too many times to count, I don't really see how that's possible. So we are all waiting to hear the exciting details. Go for it.
I'll bet you would have loved this. And maybe you even watched it the other day on television.
Yes.
Network television, not one of these, cable channels, not one of these streaming services. I'm talking network television. Pickleball.
I as soon as you started talking about that, yes, that's how big, and not big. It's not big yet, but enough people recognize this is going to be something. And so they're jumping on board. Now, the good news is it brings a lot of interest to my favorite sport. The bad news is okay, are we just going to go crazy with this? And is it going to be a flash in the pan? You're right. I saw that with Stephen Colbert and a few other folks. Is that the one you're talking about? Because CBS did one as a fundraiser.
I don't know, but there was a pickleball tournament or something. Okay, I'll give the network. It was on ABC.
Oh, okay. So that might have been a new one, a different one.
Yeah, they were actually playing pickleball. I mean, like,
right.
if you were watching a football game or a baseball game or soccer.
Right.
That's what Colbert, this was.
Yeah. Colbert did one that was kind of a fundraiser with celebrities and, wannabes and all of that, and which was cute, because that's the beauty of pickleball is I can explain it to you. I can tell you how to play in about 15 minutes. And then, you don't have to be great with it. You just have to have some basic reflexes, and you don't even have to run around too much. Running is sometimes necessary. Yes, I get it, but you don't have to. That's the beauty of pickleball. So anyway, now, like you said, all of a sudden, they're starting professional leagues, and it's just crazy how much interest there is in it. And I think cities and towns like here in Gainesville, they're struggling. They're not struggling to keep up. I think they're just now coming around to going, oh, this is a big thing. We need to do something. There's a park. I just do a quick story. There's a park that I play at in Gainesville, Northside Park, beautiful park, that had a big row of tennis courts, took the last 2 tennis courts and turned them into pickleball. The beauty of pickleball is you can put two pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. So, 2 tennis courts turn into 4 pickleball courts, and et cetera. So long story short, every weekend you'll see pictures posted on the Gainesville Facebook group, on the Gainesville pickleball group, on all Parks and Rec and all of that. The pickleball courts are jammed with people waiting to play. The tennis courts are empty. And it's like, hey, Parks and Rec, maybe we want to turn some more of these into pickleball courts and actually, help out the people, the registered voters who would love to play pickleball. So yeah, now it's a political thing. It's not like, a Republican Democrat thing. Now it's like convincing people.
Oh, it will be before the week is over.
It will probably before the week is over.
Either one party will really support pickleball and the other party won't, or no, but pickleball somewhere, someplace is a political football right now.
And whatever party is pro pickleball, that's who I'm voting for. That's all I'm saying. I don't care who it is. That's who I'm voting for, because that's important. So, but yes, we have, I'm in a meetup group, that little meetup app on your phone that shows you little clubs and groups in your area. There's a meetup group here in Gainesville it's called Lifeline Singles, or I don't know, it's a senior singles group. And we play pickleball twice a week. Tomorrow morning, I will, well, I don't know, when is this broadcast going? Yes, tomorrow morning, as you listen to this broadcast, I will be out playing pickleball. So it's a wonderful thing. It's fabulous.
Well, the first time I heard about pickleball,
yes,
it was from my neighbor here in a 55 plus community. So I said, ooh, must be like a older person's game, like shuffleboard. Then all of a sudden, we're doing the podcast. Bill Stevens is talking about pickleball. Now, I know that he's 55 plus.
Definitely.
And he says he plays it with his senior group.
Definitely.
Beat up senior group.
Yes.
Well, when I was watching it the other day, woo-hoo, they were not seniors. Let me tell you, there was some baby-roonies that were out there playing pickleball.
Now, you're talking about the TV episode there,
yeah,
or did you go watch it?
I thought I was
live?
watching volleyball there for a few seconds.
Well, I'm totally in favor of that, of course. That's a wonderful thing. Now, I will say that sometimes I will also play in the evening at this same park. And of course, here in Gainesville, well, it's kind of a college town. So yeah, in the evening, if you go to play, you'll see a lot of the college kids, the former tennis players and the, whatever. And yeah, it's that to me is the beauty of pickleball, is that anybody can play. Now, obviously there's, different skill levels, just like any other sport. But if you put 4 people together who are similar skill levels, 4 people together, you're going to have fun. There's no way you're not having fun. That's a double negative. You will have fun when you play. It's just the funnest thing ever, that, with the lights on, as they say. Now, if you stumble into a game where it's, 3 people that are really good and you're not, well, you're not going to have so much fun, because you're going to
really stinks. See, yeah, play it again.
But anyway, the good news is with pickleball, it's open to everybody. Everybody can play. It's not that hard to learn. It's not expensive. You get a pair of sneakers and you get a paddle, and you can spend $69 to $169 at Dick's Sporting Goods or online or whatever, and have a great time. You really can. And it's been my experience, and knock on wood, it stays that way, that it's a lot more inclusive than tennis. Like tennis tends to get a little like you're either in or you're out. Pickleball, I mean, and here's a good example. Last week, I was playing at a local park in the morning, and one of the tennis players came over after playing tennis down the way and said, "Oh, this is interesting. How do you play this?" And somebody gave him the 5-minute lesson, lent him a paddle, and he was out whacking the ball around on the pickleball court in 10 minutes, loving it. So we're inclusive. We bring people in. Please come over to the pickleball side. We have cookies.
Well, now that we're moving,
yes,
our new neighborhood has like a Facebook page.
Cool.
And obviously we're interested in the new neighborhood to see what's going on and what they're doing. It's another 55 plus community. And they have pickleball like beginner pickleball, advanced pickleball. It's like, they have different things on their, their community calendar, but pickleball is the one that seems to be there every day.
When I lived in Venice before moving up here to Gainesville, I was in a gated community. I don't know if it was 55 plus or not. I don't think so, but it was a gated community, and they built it with pickleball in mind, so that there were probably many more pickleball courts than there were tennis courts. They were well organized, and same thing. They had a Facebook page. They had one of those online sign up. You had to sign up in advance to get a court because it was so busy all the time that you could just show up and hopefully get in a game, and you usually could. But it's like, yeah, it's super popular, and it's going to be awesome. I hope, as long as it doesn't get killed by everybody. What's that?
I thought I was hip, but I guess I'm not. I am just really turning the page of learning about pickleball.
Think you could be interested?
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's not a lot of work, but it does take a little bit of effort. I don't know how fast you're going to be moving around on the court there. I haven't actually seen you walking in a while, so I don't know how that's going to work.
It's not a pretty sight. I guess if they let me take a cane out there too.
Yeah, no.
Hobble around on a cane and whack the old thing.
No, sorry. Unless you had, four other geezers like you, three other geezers, you, BJ and the geezers, wanting to play pickleball. I imagine it's possible, but not so much.
Sounds more like a punk rock group. BJ and the geezers.
One night only. BJ and the geezers. Bring your cane. Actually, never mind. So, well, cool. I'm glad I'm finally hip or cool or whatever it is. I'm glad I'm there. Awesome.
You know what? I had something else in mind that I wanted to talk about. And I even thought of it when we first came back from the break.
What's that?
And now that we've had such a big talk on pickleball, I forgot what the topic was that I was wanting to chit chat about. Boy, this getting older does suck, people. Let me tell you right now.
It kind of does, doesn't it? It really does.
We've talked about that. I still do a Sunday afternoon radio shift.
Yes.
And there are days that I go in there and I'm sharp and I'm sounding like, the old BJ on the radio, hitting all four cylinders. And then there's other days, and I don't know if it's old age. I don't know if it's, taking all these anti-rejection drugs for now nearly 20 years.
Right.
But there's days I go in there and it's like I'm in a fog. And it's just, I don't hit on all four cylinders. Let's just say that.
On all four. Remember when it used to be on all 8 cylinders? Now it's just 4.
Well, as we get older for sure. And now I think I'm only hitting on maybe 2 of those filters sometimes, or maybe even 1 cylinder.
So I totally get it, because I totally understand what you're talking about. And I think my solution, I don't know if it's a solution or not, my kind of way of coping with that is actually to have less, and this is going to be hard for you to hear, BJ Odom, this is going to be hard for you to hear. I actually have a lot less stuff in my life. I mean, physical stuff. I mean, like, if I were to take you on a tour of my little 1-bedroom apartment, it's like, yes, I have a bedroom, I have a closet. My closet, you could walk in and half the shelf space is empty. I have, if you open up my kitchen, I have 1 set of pots and pans 3 of them. And it's just seems like it's easier to keep track of. Oh, I need this. Oh, I know right where it is. It's in that closet or in that box or in that whatever bin. And that is part of it for me. I because I know that it would be a tough thing to try and remember where so much stuff is.
But now I will say, you are living by yourself.
I am.
You are a male living by yourself.
Yes. Thank you.
Not that I don't love my wife and accept her stuff. Well, I kind of accept her stuff. But if I was doing exactly what you are doing, oh, there would not be very much stuff at all. There would be, I'll tell you exactly what there would be. There would be a television, and probably I would make it so my television could also be my computer, because you can do that nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I'd have I'd have like a, unless I was living in a little camper, which I've ever said, if my wife passes before me, or if I would ever be single, I'm going to get about a 22-foot trailer.
Right.
And that'll be my home. I will have everything in it that I would ever want.
Love that.
But, so when you look at all these boxes behind us,
yes,
very little of those things are mine.
Are yours. Yeah. I hear you.
And I don't even know if there is ours. I don't know for sure.
It's all
Someone
hers.
will say, this is our stuff. No, it's your stuff.
No, it's your stuff. It's your stuff. And I get it. I do. I get it. And for me, it's just so much easier that way to live that to live that way. Now, yeah, and I've told people, well, I'm kind of a minimalist, and they're like, oh, that doesn't sound like fun. No, you don't understand. I'm a minimalist. I have a TV. It's a very nice one. It's like a 65-inch widescreen. Oh, it's all the toys, all the it's a really nice one. I have one. My one, going to remain nameless, but I have my one lady friend in Jacksonville. She has a TV in every room.
See, again,
bathroom. She has a TV in the bathroom where she can watch it while she's in the tub. Back porch, back lanai, living room, bedroom, bathroom, back lanai, office. Really? That sounds like a lot of trouble.
Now, okay. Now you said when you open your closet, there's your stuff, and it's your stuff, your clothes are hanging there, and it doesn't even take up the whole closet.
No.
Now let's go to her place.
Oh my God.
I want you to open that closet, and I want you to tell me what you see.
Oh my God. I would it could be a comedy special. It could, because for starters, she lives in a nice big house by herself, 2 cats. And the closet is full. There's another closet in the master bed that if you open, it's almost like one of those comedy shows where the stuff just falls out on you in a pile. I'm going to get in trouble for this. I really am, but I'm not mentioning any names. So the innocent shall remain, nameless in this case, or whatever that, old Dragnet line used to be. So anyway, long story short, yes. And is that a female thing? Are you saying? I'm not gonna step on that minefield.
I'll bet you somewhere out there is a male, maybe 2 of them, that have all this stuff.
You might be right.
In this house.
You might be right.
But if you did some kind of survey report and you took men that were living alone and women that were living alone, I think the stuff ratio would be, it would be bigger than the Buccaneers' last loss.
Oh my God.
Can't really talk about it because we're about 2 weeks
Do
late on that one.
not get me started on the Buccaneers' last loss. So, but yes, you're right. There must be somewhere in this world men, single men living on their own that have a lot of stuff. I get that. There must be.
If you are one of those men, send us an email and give us pictures and send to BJ and Bill podcast @gmail.com. And of course, and we want to see a guy with lots of stuff. Or
Right.
if you're a woman with little stuff,
Yes.
let us know that way too.
And you don't have to put a name on it. You don't have to tell us where, you don't have to tell us anything. We just want to see that picture to see the evidence that what we're talking about could actually happen.
And I'm not being sexist. I just think, it's just part of life. Men and
so, too.
women are different.
I think so too.
They've been different from the time I've been a teenager to the time that I'm an old fart.
Right.
And women have just always been different.
And that's fine. That's perfect. That's the way it's supposed to be. Boy, we're opening a real can of worms here as far as, do you, prefer to be a man or a woman or a something else or whatever. That's a whole nother big can of worms.
All I will say on that, and this is my philosophy.
Yes.
And I've even had arguments with people, but my philosophy is whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, as long as it doesn't affect me. It doesn't. If you live next to me, if you was a roommate of mine, even I would not care. But as long as it doesn't affect me, and obviously it would not affect me.
I'm holding up my finger like in the courtroom shows. Objection, Your Honor. And here's where it gets, I'm just going to say the word. Here's where it gets ugly. And because I totally agree with you. I totally 100% agree with you. You do. And when I say you, I mean everybody that's not Bill Stevens. You do what makes you happy. Unless it's against the law or immoral, obviously, don't. Well,
don't say immoral because a lot of people think some of that stuff is immoral. So
that's true too. Okay. So see, now we're already into the gray area, but here's where it goes off the rails. In some cases, in some places, colleges and universities, I'm looking at you. If someone says they identify, and again, that's a crazy, it's not crazy. That's a new thing. That's a brand new term that we've just come up with in the past couple of years. If someone says they identify as a something, and I'm not going to say a him, a her, a cat, a dog, a whatever, and that's how they prefer to be addressed. Now the question becomes, are they going, or is government or the school administration or whatever going to force BJ or Bill to use those words when talking to that person? Because now you're not doing your own thing. You're imposing your thing on me.
Okay, that makes sense then.
That's where we're at in this world right now. And that's, I feel, I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But that's what I feel is really causing a lot of the problems between people in this world today. Boy, that was a big statement right there. But if you want to identify as a cat, I don't care. But if you then go to your boss or your college administration or your congressman and you say, well, now everybody has to talk to me that way. That's where it goes off the rails, because now everybody gets to pick and choose and whatever, and we don't know, and who gets in trouble for using the wrong word and blah, blah, blah. And now you're doing literally to quote the old sci-fi book, which has, 20 years past, 40 years past. Now you're doing the 1984 thing. Now you are mandating. You're putting into law the way people can speak. And last time I checked, this is supposed to be a free country. And if I choose not to call you a cat when you want to be a cat or whatever, that's what makes me happy. But no, because something makes you happy, now you're forcing me to do something in a way that doesn't make me happy. And that's where we've gone wrong. Okay, end of rant, end of sermon. Send your comments and questions to bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com and whatever. So I'll take your slings and arrows, and I'm fine with that. I know. Right? I know.
That was heavy for BJ and Bill. Let me tell you.
That was pretty doggone heavy for BJ and Bill. It really was. But we're not thinking about that. And I believe that we've come to this point where we just react to crap. And I wanted to use the S word there, the SH double.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Bill.
We just react to crap that we see online. And it's like, whatever cheeses people off this week, we have to somehow respond to and make it okay for people. We have to make it okay for you. I'm sorry, the world is not going to make it okay for you. Sometimes you're just going to get insulted. Deal with it.
It started out when they gave everybody a trophy.
Yes, it did. It really did. Started out when everybody got a trophy. My favorite sportscaster on the radio, a guy by the name of Colin Cowherd. He was on ESPN. Now he's on Fox.
I love him.
Yes. I remember him years ago when he had young children, when he had, 10, 12 teenagers, whatever. Not, he didn't have 10 kids. They were that age. He said, I always tell my kids, the world is not fair. Do not expect the world to be fair. The world is not fair. And you want it that way. You want the world to not be fair, because that means if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, if you make it happen, you get the goodies. You get you get the rewards of all of that. And if everybody gets all the rewards, well, guess what? Then it's meaningless. And then there's not enough to go around. And that kind of sucks. Then we're lowest common denominator. All right. I have ranted enough, BJ Odom. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Bill,
but I have ranted enough
Stevens
for one day.
Congress.
Let me have some coffee and you tell me what you think.
This announcement has been paid for by those of...
I don't know what it's been paid for, but it's been crazy. So anyway, but that's, you were so right. You said it started when we started giving everybody a trophy.
One more thing going back to with the new year coming.
Yes, please.
We had this conversation about 4 or 5, 6 episodes together, how at one time I really wasn't a sports fan.
Right.
How, one time I didn't root for teams. I didn't even really watch sports. I'm getting to the point where if my teams keep playing like they've been playing the past 3, 4, 5 months, I'm thinking about going back to being, what game? I didn't watch any game today. And it's like, I don't know what the world has against BJ, but it's all my teams.
Well,
the Warriors. That's my favorite basketball team.
Oh,
and
okay.
The Lakers.
Yes.
The Warriors were the champs last year.
Yes.
They won't even make the playoffs if, of course they got a lot of season left to go.
Yes.
But they won't even make the playoffs if, that happened today. The Bucks, they're in the playoffs. Well, this is 2 weeks later. They might be completely out of the playoffs by now, people. So I'm sorry. But because it's a good possibility they will be.
It is, yes.
I'm betting that none of my teams are even going to be in any playoffs. So
how about that? And I haven't checked in because I've been consumed by basketball and football, just like you. How about our Tampa Bay Lightning?
I'm kind of, I usually, and this sounds mean or sounds bad, maybe. I usually don't. I mean, I'll watch a hockey game every now and again. If I can go see it live, then I'm definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
But in most cases, until playoffs, I don't really become that person that is there every night.
Yeah, no, me neither.
So, I think they're doing okay.
Okay.
I don't know if they're doing great, but they're doing okay.
You're right.
They're stinking.
The are.
Bucks, they're stinking.
The
Gators,
they're a dumpster fire.
They're stinking.
Yeah. And Charles Barkley even said it on Inside the NBA a week ago. Well, by the time you hear this, a couple of weeks ago or whatever, he went off on the Lakers. He said they are awful. They are. And when at that night when they were doing the show, he said they're terrible. They're in 12th place in the West. He said, in the East, who's in 12th place? And he paused and he goes, you don't know because we don't care. He says, it's the Washington Wizards. How much are we covering the Washington Wizards? We're not, but it's the Lakers. And they're in the exact same position in the standings. And we're all over them. It's like, they're awful. They're awful.
But
The Bucks are awful.
The Lakers, for some reason, it's like one of those teams, though.
Yes.
I mean, that's like the Cowboys.
Yes.
Whether they're good or bad, everybody just seems to follow them a little bit to know what they're doing.
Yep.
When it comes to baseball, it seems like the Braves is one of those teams people watch.
Yep.
And for some reason or another, even though they never do good. Now, I will say this. Now, I don't know about now, but a few years ago, statistics showed that even when they were losing, that the Chicago Cubs sold more merchandise than any other baseball franchise. And I think the New York
Yankees.
Yankees
Mets,
were
whatever.
second.
It helps that you're in, a humongous, one of the top 5 cities in America. So yeah, I get it. But you're right. I get it. So I don't know.
And the Lakers, if you look at jersey sales, over the years, Lakers are right on top. I mean, I've been a Lakers fan. Of course, one of the guys that's responsible, at least for some of this company, Shaquille O'Neal, he was a Laker at one time.
Yes,
He's a big Laker fan.
Yes,
my son,
he was also a Cleveland Cavalier and a Miami Heat member for a while, but we don't talk about that too much. But yes, I get it. The Lakers have had a string. Well, it's Los Angeles. Everybody goes to LA eventually. If you're LeBron James playing and winning championships in Cleveland, Ohio, that's nice. But when you go to LA, your value goes 10x because you can do TV commercials and blah, 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 blah. I get it. So eventually all the big names end up in LA. So eventually you're right. The Shaq, the Kobe, the LeBron, all of that. Yes, they're going to sell a lot of jerseys. They're going to sell a lot of merchandise. But for some reason, even though with all of those big names, they suck this year. They just suck. Sorry. But they're not alone. Your and my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it can't get any worse. I don't know if I hope Tom Brady doesn't have any time left on his contract. I'm not bringing him back next year. I'm saving that money. I'm blowing things up. I'm starting over.
Yeah, he's a free agent next year.
Good.
Did you hear the latest rumor though?
No.
The latest rumor is that he's in talks, or I don't know what. Everybody's just, all these pundits are thinking, they don't know anything, knows. But they're thinking he may end up playing for one more season for the New England Patriots.
Interesting. That would be a season worth watching just for the nostalgia. I think that's good. That's Tom. Don't let the door hit you on the butt on the way out of Tampa. That's fun. I love you. You're awesome. You're great. I don't know what happened this year. I don't know if it was the divorce. I don't know if it was he was involved in that. He wasn't involved. He was a spokesman for that crypto company that went, that imploded. I don't know. I don't know if he lost money. I don't know if he lost what. I don't know. But something's in his head and it's not football. So it seems from the outside looking in. I know he's, Tom, he's Tom Terrific. I get it and all that, but it's just, and maybe it's the team. Maybe it's him. I don't know. I don't care. Start over.
That's why I said after this year, my New Year's resolution is just to forget about rooting for a sports team.
I can't do that. I hear you. I'm too much of a sports fan. I can't do that. It's fun. And did you watch any of the World Cup soccer?
I did not.
I did not either. But I heard this. I had a lady friend.
Some people said, I'm not a soccer fan, but that last game was freaking awesome.
I'll finish on this. I had a lady friend who is dating somebody who's a huge soccer fan. I think he is European. Anyway, I don't know. But she wanted to kind of get into learning a little bit about the soccer. So she's texting me to find out about soccer. I'm watching the soccer. What am I looking for? And I'm like, you're talking to the wrong guy because I know nothing about it. But yesterday, as you and I record this, was the finals, Argentina versus France. I put it on because they had a shootout. I'm like, oh, just like the NHL, they have a shootout to decide the game. And it was exciting. And it was, fun to watch. And as my lady friend reported back. She said, "Oh, I'm finding I love soccer. It's like grown men who can cry and express their emotions and all." I said, "That's not the point, but okay. If that's what you like, go for it. Because I find soccer as boring as watching grass grow." But that's just me. So, okay.
Now, you got to admit this too, though.
What?
Rules have a lot to do with the sport.
Yes.
You like it or you don't like it. Let's take hockey, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what offsides is, or, hooking, and, if you don't know the terms,
Mm-hmm.
you just think it's guys skating back and forth trying to put a puck into the net.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why'd they blow a whistle? Why all of a sudden did they stop playing? They got to,
Right.
Why is this? Because they were offsides. And that is a rule that you can't break. And if you do, then they blow a whistle and you have to
play
have a
stops.
face-off.
Yes.
And depending on where the offside was, is depending on where they're going to do the face-off.
Yep.
So,
You're right.
I think if you're really going to be a sport fan of a sport like soccer, even football, though, I guess if you didn't know a thing about football,
Right.
let's just say, I don't think that's really possible here in America, but you knew nothing at all about football.
Right.
And you were watching a football game, you'd be going, what?
What's
what
going
are
on
they
here?
doing? I don't get it. Why does this team get to throw the ball more than this team? And I'll tell you one rule, though, in football,
Yes.
that I still to this day do not understand. And I think it's the stupidest rule in the world.
Okay.
The first down, when you bring the little thing down, the chains out to the middle
Yes.
of the field.
Yes.
See, is the ball this far over, like a half inch over? Is it like 2 inches? Is it over at all? Or is it on? The referee has thrown that ball 3 or 4 times to different people. It could be easily 6 inches off just from people touching the ball.
I hear. Oh, okay. I hear you. You're right. It's totally up to the ref to where he puts it down on the grass and says, this is the official spot. So I guess we just have to, you just kind of have to agree. You just have to kind of go, okay, well, we're going to accept that as the real, as what happens. Someday in the future, we'll have, cameras and lasers all along the edge of the field and everything like that. And the ball will have a chip in it and referee won't have to place it. We'll know exactly where it goes, and we'll know no more chains, no more nothing. Boy, we're just going out into outer space here with football, aren't we? That's awesome. But you're right. Football is probably the most complicated. And if you were to bring somebody over from, Europe or whatever, or somebody in America who had never paid attention to it or been interested and started watching, it would be like total mayhem. It would be like confusion. I know what's these yellow flags and what's going on and whistles and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's really complicated. It kind of is.
If you came over from England, you go, you call this football?
Some guy I'll finish on that because we're past our hour. Some guy posted that on Twitter the other night. One of the financial gurus that I watch, who's based in Dubai or something like that. He posted the NFL trophy, the Lombardi trophy, and 1.3, or 250 million viewers. And he posted the FIFA World Cup, the soccer one, and it said 8 billion viewers. He goes, it's football, folks. It's like this one, the soccer one. It's football. Don't tell me about your American football. All right, BJ Odom. It's been the sports edition here. Wow. Closing thoughts?
No, I just hope everybody, that is listening has a very wonderful new year, and we'll drop the next edition of the BJ. And here's what's really weird. And speaking of and I don't mean to stretch out, but as we close out, we talk about our Amazon lady.
Yes.
Now, I know that the people who put up our podcast, and I guess that's how it's written there, but it's actually BJ and Bill, the podcast. I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
I haven't noticed that.
Our Facebook and everything else. The other day, I was asking our Amazon lady to play the podcast, and she played it, but she played it from TuneIn because we're also on TuneIn, if you know that app. The other day, I asked her to play it, the BJ and Bill, the podcast, and it played on Apple.
Oh.
So I don't know. I'm I still haven't got this thing figured out, but at least now, if I ask her, she'll play it on one of the platforms at least.
And the only other question I would have is what episode is she going to play? I think she plays.
She usually plays the most current episode. And also, if you like say, hey, my lady friend,
Amazon lady,
yeah, turn it off. I'm done, listening. But then in another hour, I say again, put it back on. It'll start at the place where you quit listening.
Oh, well, maybe next week we'll try a whole. I'll bring her over onto my desk here, and because she sits right over there, I'm pointing over to the little bookcase I have next to my desk in my office here, and we'll give it a try. I like that.
And I don't know if it connects, because I know it does connect to your phone.
Yes.
So I don't know if you have to have these particular apps on your phone or not. That I don't know.
I don't know that. That's a good question.
Mr. Computer Guy, you got homework.
I got homework again. All right. Well, yes, I agree. Everybody, Happy New Year. Celebrate responsibly. We want you around for the next year listening to every episode of the BJ and Bill podcast. So have a good time. Be wonderful. Be safe. And until that time, it's just now up to Mr. Odom to say,
see ya.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.